What is up? Good morning, everyone. Uh, don't know what the weather is like where you are currently today. We've got a beautiful, rainy, cloudy Pennsylvania day. These are the days built for wrestling. So here we are, starting another week. Just wanted to say thank you once again for tuning in. Want to remind you guys we have some amazing clinicians coming up this week. I don't know if you guys really know and understand some of these people. So today at 12:30, we've got Mario Mason, a couple-time national prep champion out of Blair, wrestled collegiately at the University of Minnesota and Rutgers University, RU, and has spent time beating up on guys on the senior level for the last couple of years. Has placed multiple times at the U.S. Open, and also is a really good friend. Tomorrow we have a doubleheader with Coach Gary Mayab. If you don't know who he is, please learn about him. He is our Greco national team coach and director of Greco-Roman programming. The guy's been an official at the highest levels. He's coached state championship teams. He's coached world champions. Please tune into him. And then tomorrow afternoon in the 3:30 to 4:30 slot, we've got Coach Bill Mitchell from St. Louis, one of the few gold level coaches that we have in our country. Bill is a true developmental coach who understands what it takes to succeed from the youngest levels to the highest levels. After that, on Wednesday afternoon, we have national champion from the University of Minnesota, Jason Ness. If you missed his NCAA finals match with Daniel Dennis as it was broadcast on ESPN a couple of weekends ago, go back and watch it. It's one of the best NCAA finals matches you will see. 2010 133-pound championship match. And then on Thursday, we have world silver medalist Jaime Espinal. His wife, Jane, went on Saturday with a great lesson on footwork and really how to get your opponent to move, which is a little bit of what we're going to build on today. Friday, we've got Coach Richie Botetto from Botetto Trained in New Jersey. This coach has put multiple guys on world teams, age group world teams, with one of his current proteges, Robert Howard, tearing it up on a national scene. So you don't want to miss what he's showing on Friday. Saturday, we've got Coach Joe Uccellini from New York, coach of Kirby Three Style, one of the only clubs that participates and encourages their wrestlers to do freestyle and Greco-Roman all year round. So his stuff really kind of helps to integrate a lot of what you want to do as a wrestler from one style to the next. And then on Sunday of this week, we end with Coach Cliff Fretwell from the Compound down in Georgia, getting a little Southern flavor in here for you guys. I mean, he's got tons of filthy stuff. He knows all the tips and tricks. So make sure you're checking out Coach Cliff Fretwell on Sunday. I mean, this lineup is nuts. We've got world finalists, NCAA champs, the coaches of world champs. So please make sure you're checking in this week. As always, still want to let you guys know we're about halfway through the month. We're still working on our shoe raffle. All right, here is the info. It is also on the front of the page. You know, you don't want to miss these shoes. Okay, you're going to be walking around a tournament and people are going to be asking you where you got them, and they're going to be really cool. So don't miss out on your opportunity for those. Cool. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, all right. So today we're going over setups, push pull footwork. This lesson's really fun. It should get you guys moving. I know here in Pennsylvania, like I said, we've got a cloudy, dreary, rainy day. Wind is blowing and howling. Perfect day to be inside, getting better as a wrestler. So we're just going to review the last couple of lessons are 7 basic skills, hand fighting and sprawling, stuff like that. Going to review our core drills quickly, and so then we can jump into the lesson on basically our footwork, push-pull footwork, how we're going to set our opponents up, what a setup is, and how we're going to get started from there. So hopefully that gave everyone time. My little spiel gave everyone time to get on here. Everyone who wants to be on and watching is watching. We've got one other participant here in the Zoom lesson. My buddy Thomas, he checks in every time. Good to see you, my friend. So let's get started, guys. Cool. So while my buddy Keyway is getting that set up behind me, all right, let's get our bodies warmed up, just like we've been starting off with the last couple of times here. We're going to start off with some jumping jacks, some rolls, get our bodies moving. So ready, let's get some jumping jacks ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get some burpees with some mountain climbers. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Let's get some rolls in. All right. 4 rolls. Go. Backward rolls. Good. Cartwheel. Good. Left shoulder roll. Right shoulder roll. And bump. Again. Good. Get some push-ups in. 10 of these. Go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And 10. 2 cases. 4 sit-ups. Whatever you can do. 10 on your own. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Make sure we're stretching now. Go nice and quick through here. Feet down. Touch your toes. Good. Feet a little wide now. Down to the center. Move to the right. Turn your body to the right. Arm over the top. Pull all the way down. Keep that leg straight. Good. To the other side. Down low to the left. Stretch out your hamstrings, your quads. Make sure you're back. Down to the side now. Pulling the arm down. Feel this stretch all the way through here and through your hip. Good. Rotate your hips around. Good. Pull your necks down. Side. Swirl your necks out on the mat a little bit. Up in your bridge. Back of your head. Get your chin to the mat. Ear to ear. Good. Roll your neck. Flip over once. Good. Right into your back arch. Keep walking your feet in as close as you can. Try and plant your feet and push your hips up towards the ceiling. Roll your chin back towards the mat. Good. Come up on your hands. Give me one good push here and hold. Stretch out our backs. Good. All right. Nice little quick warm up. So we're going to get started here with our 7 basic skills. All right. I think it's obviously very important that you know these, repeat them every time. There's no reason why you don't need to practice these every day. So getting ready, shaking out your arms, getting ready for some stance in motion. First thing we're going to work on is just our first 3. All right, we're going to roll through these for about 45 seconds. Ready, go. So we're in our good wrestling stance. Remember, we want our butt down, elbows in, chin up. All right, we're moving our feet. All right, we're moving our feet. My feet never stop moving, whether it's circling this way, circling this way. All right, one thing that I try to make sure is I never cross my feet. All right, it's going to put me off balance. So I try to make sure I work on a gallop step. All right, if I want to go forward, my front leg moves, back leg moves, gallop step. All right, same thing here, gallop step. If I want to move to the side, that leg moves first. All right, so I'm moving to my left, right here, moving to my right there, boom, shake it out. All right, so that was just stance motion, a little bit of level change. All right, ready, get right back into it. Boom, we're in our stance motion. Now, use your back hand, check your level, check your distance. All right, this is going to be important today. We're going to be working on a lot of level changes. We want to work on a fake. All right, so our fakes are going to be everything but the shot. So imagine a really good fake is going to look here. All right, and here. This is my sweep single fake. It's here. Okay, everything but the shot, because if I add my penetration, it's there. My fake is here, penetration, there. So to make your fake really effective, what you want to do is make it look just like your shot. All right, brave. So to make it look just like our shot, keep your feet moving. Getting ready for the third. All right. If you record yourself while you shadow wrestle, okay, what you'll be able to see is when you take your shot, how low you go, how you're penetrating, how you're getting your hips forward. And what you want to do is you want to recreate all of that except for the penetration for your fake. All right? So let's get ready. We're going to have 1 minute, stance, motion, level change, and penetration. All right, ready? Go in your stance. Good. Stance motion. All right, you guys can do your level changes and your penetrations on your own at home. Okay, penetrate. Work on a little bit of your fake motion, which is going to be everything but your shot. So quick level change. All right, use your hands to change what this guy is looking at. If I'm walking in front of you here and I do this, all right, I can get your hands up as I fake, and then I can penetrate right in there. All right, so keep your feet moving, check your level, check your distance, penetration step. We have about 10 more seconds here. We're moving our feet. And time. Very good, very good. So, you guys should be nice and warm. All right, body should feel good. Just barely a sweat going. All right, so want to review talking about our 7 basic skills: stance, motion, level change, penetration, body arch, lift, and back step. All right, right back there. If those aren't in your notes, all right, go back to lesson 1. All right, so the next thing, I'm going to run through some of this review super quick. All right, we've got a lot of stuff that we covered so far. Our hand fighting, all right, remember, it's me and Kiwi are hand fighting. We've got 3 different ties. We've got our open tie, All right, this is our hand fighting tie where we're both trying to gain some advantage here. And then I've got my control ties, which are going to be my 2-on-1 Russians, my underhooks. All right, so we're going to go over this underhook position today, how I'm not coming over the shoulder, how I'm coming across the back. That's going to help us with our push-pull footwork motion. All right, and so remember our hand fighting rules. A hand fight from the bottom up, from the inside out. Kiwei's really, really tight on his hand fighting, and I can't come underneath his elbows. I get 2 hands on one and come from my chest forward. All right. So hand fight, bottom up, inside out, chest forward. Got to make sure we understand our sprawls. Whenever we are doing shot defense, our levels of defense: head, hands, forearms, and hips, bag of tricks. And when we sprawl, head goes down and away, and we're keeping our legs straight as a board. All right. Our scrambling rules. Okay. Remember rule 0. Must have something. You can't be empty-handed in a scramble. All right, high head's going to win. Inside hip down, outside hip up. Find and keep shoulder position. Remember, shoulder position is going to be the front of my shoulder on the front of his hip, or the front of my shoulder right below his tailbone stinky shoulder. All right, we also have our shoulder position here. So imagine when you're in these ties, I want the front of my shoulder right in the center of his chest on his sternum. All right, and if I can find a way to get around this guy and get the front of my shoulder right between his shoulder blades, imagine he's got a butthole right between his shoulder blades, I can get an upper stinky shoulder. All right, so that's going to be our shoulder position. As part of our scrambling rules, we got to find and keep that. We want to create a low leg, elevate that low leg and hook. During that whole time, we're looking to attack ankles and wrists, feed the top leg when necessary, and when necessary, we want to pass last, all right? If those words don't make sense to you, then I suggest you go back and watch the lesson before this, all right? Everything is up on YouTube. Everything is on the Facebook page. Please check it out. All right, our core drills that we've gone over. We went over stinky shoulder, stinky palm. Those are going to be our finishes with head inside, head outside. Our sprawl, whizzer, and scrunch, which are going to be our basic defenses to the head inside, head outside shots. We've got our front headlock basic, which is just 3-legged table and score. And then our cat drag, which is going to be how we defend our front headlocks, 2 hands on the chin hand, isolate, create some motion. All right, and then our advanced core drills, we added in our head redirects and our shoulder passes, which are going to be really helpful for our defense. We've got our offensive and defensive shot reshots as well, which we're going to kind of touch today. All right, so that's basically what we've done the last couple of lessons here. All right, so as we get started into some new stuff, it's not necessarily brand new, but so let's talk about some of what we're going to do here. So me and Kiwei are sitting here, we're wrestling. Okay, I'm trying to set Kiwei up. And what does that actually mean? A setup is a predicted reaction from my opponent. Now, whether that be offensive or defensive, it doesn't matter. All right. So one of my favorite setups, okay, is to get to my underhook. All right. So I go post, club, underhook, sweep. All right. So my setup is post, club, underhook, sweep. Now, remember, so a setup is just a predicted reaction. When I post club, this hand normally comes up. Post club, right there. All right? And when we talk about our underhooks, very important. We don't want to cup the shoulder here. So when we cup the shoulder, we give this guy a chance to go with his overhook. Okay? He's got an overhook. He's got some pressure against my chest. He can whizzer my arm down. Very, very bad news for me when I'm cupping his shoulder. All right? Because what I want to do is keep his elbow up. So when I turn my hand down his back, his elbow stays up. All right? And with his elbow up, now I can attack this side whenever I want. Especially if I keep head position. All right? So if I'm keeping head position and I've got my underhook, I'm going to be able to attack that side as much as I want. All right? So remember, our setup is just a reaction. that we're used to. Okay? It's going to allow me to get to easy shots because I'm used to that reaction. All right, another way to create a reaction that we're used to is to use our face. All right, I'm a left leg lead. All right, and so one thing that I like to use and talk about is as we're setting guys up. Okay? As we're setting guys up. To create predictable reactions. All right? So we've got our setup. To create predictable reactions, one of the things that I like to use is touch his knees, touch his toes. So touch knees and touch toes. So what does that look like in action? Okay. So in action, what that looks like is this. We're in our stance and we're moving around. You guys are moving in your stance at home. We're hand fighting. I'm trying to find opening. Okay, as much as I can, I want to touch his knees. Okay, as much as I can, I want to touch his knees. Okay, we're moving around, touch his knees. Also, if I'm staying well in my stance, we're moving, we're hand fighting. All right, I want to touch his toes. All right down here, I want to touch his toes. I can time his steps. If I'm watching him touch his knees. Right? Touch his toes. Because if I can touch him, I can grab him. If I can grab him, I can score. All right? So, one of my favorite ways is part of my setup. All right, so we talked about three things already. Is creating these reactions, right? With pushes and pulls and underhooks. All right? Talked about our fakes, which are going to be everything but the shot. All right? And then we want to be touching his knees, touching his toes. Okay? Now, the last thing, as we talk about our hand fight and creating setups, all right, one of the things that is vitally important is understanding our position, our elbows in, our good wrestling position, elbows in, butt down, head up, all right? And so we've got to be able to push and pull. So I've talked about push pressure and stop pressure, all right? So remember my push pressure, I'm trying to create stop pressure for my opponent. So I've got good hand fighting position. I'm inside. I'm pushing keep way. He decides he doesn't want to get pushed anymore, so he plants his feet. When he plants his feet, the pressure that's coming back into me allows me to redirect it. All right, so I'm pushing keep way. He decides to stop right here. Now my hands can go to work. I can start to move and create motion. All right, so some of the technique steps that we have here that you might not know. All right, so younger guys and girls out there, understanding that we have something called an outside step penetration. All right, most of you are used to this inside step penetration where my knee goes deep. I'm driving in, whether it be head inside or head outside. But we can hit this outside step penetration where I come here, okay, and I'm reaching for this knee. But remember, I'm still keeping my basic tenets of good wrestling position. Okay, my shoulder position is going front of the shoulder, front of the hip. I'm getting my hands locked, all right, and I'm looking to elevate this leg off the mat, all right? So we've got our outside step here, okay? Same thing. Anytime I can get his hands moving and down right there, I can outside step, all right? We've also got our swisher step. We talked about this in one of our earlier lessons. Whenever I'm here and I need to create this angle, this back foot is going to swing like a windshield wiper. Right? If keep weight is putting pressure on me, he's leaning in, going to sprawl, I can release this pressure with a swisher step. Right here, that pressure release allows me to find new position. All right? So outside step and swisher step. All right, so these are going to be some skills that you need here. Outside step, outside and swisher step. So, how do we put all these things together to really create solid setups solid reactions from our opponent. All right, so there's a couple of things that we're going to do. So we want to make sure that we're creating reactions. Okay, as the wrestler, as the person who wants to dictate action, me and Keibwe are wrestling. If Keibwe lowers his level, I have to match his head level. That is one of these rules that you must follow. That if your opponent's lower than you, they change their level, and you don't follow, you're getting open yourself up to shots. So when they change their level, you change your level. He changes his level, I match. All right. He's dictating this right now. He's changing his level, and I have to react. Which means that when he changes his level, I must stay down here until he decides to come up. But this is now becoming a predictable reaction for me. All right, and we can turn the tables on this by adding our own fakes and adding our own level change. So Keibwe comes out level change, I got a match. He's moving to C, level change again, I got a match. But now I can fake. All right, now it's my reactions that he's reacting to. Now I want to touch his knees, right? Touch his toes. That's going to open him up to, I get him to move right here. There goes my good penetration. All right, I'm staying nice and tight, getting in my shoulder position. Okay, so I want you guys to think of it like this. This is a dance. All right, you've got to know the dance moves, and what you want to do is make your partner dance to your song. So when I'm out here wrestling, all right, I want to make sure that I'm getting inside control. And one of the ways that I try and control what my opponent's doing is with my feet. All right, my feet and my hands are going to do all the work that I need for my shots. All right, so as I'm moving, if I can't control inside, Keibwe's doing a good job of controlling the inside. All right, now my last thing that I need to do, this last skill, is a snap skill. All right, so I know a lot of you guys try to snap and pull people down. All right, I like to do just what's called a little short snap. All right, I call it a short snap because I want to keep my arms really short. One thing that's important to recognize is whenever my arms get extended away from my body, they get weak. All right, so if Keibwe comes in here and I pick him up in a wedding carry, right? I pick him up like this, I can hold him nice and tight. But if I try and extend him away from my body, it's just not happening. I'm not strong enough. All right, so you must understand that we've got to wrestle within our strength zone. All right, my hands are out of my strength zone. Now my hands are in my strength zone. Okay, weak, strong. So as I'm wrestling, when I'm looking to snap, okay, I can't snap from weak arms. My arms have to be tight. And when I snap, all right, I want you guys to think of it like this. So here's how my snap's gonna look. I've got a knife hand, all right, knife hand, and it's cupped. So this is how my hand looks as it's in between Keibwe's elbow. So my finger is gonna be tight on his elbow, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my elbow down, I'm gonna pull towards me, all right, and the motion's gonna come, I'm trying to pull my elbow to my hip. All right, so what that looks like, he's got a good collar tie, I'm wrestling a good wrestler, all right, I can't get to the inside, so as I snap, I'm gonna pull my hand down, my elbow's gonna stay down, and I'm gonna give pressure backwards, and it's down. All right, I can get a lot of pull with this because the tighter my opponent stays on my head, the more this finger gets caught into his elbow, and as long as I'm pulling down, he's gonna have to move. All right, if his collar tie is weak, all right, and as I pull down, it comes right off, then that means that it wasn't doing anything in the first place, and I should be able to beat that with our hand fighting rules. All right, he's got a weak collar tie. If I get a snap and nothing happens, that means the next time it comes up, I should be on the inside arm opens up, easy shot, easy takedown. So let's kind of put all this together. We've got our fakes. All right, we've got touching his knees, touching his toes. We've got our short snap, which imagine his arms are straight. All right, I come and I slide my hand right there, that motion. All right, I don't need to pull him down. I'm not trying to be this really big, strong, tough guy and pull down and get myself out of position.
is I'm pulling my elbows down and into my hips right here. That's going to pull him into me. All right. We've got that. Got our fakes. And we're looking to get to, if we can, as much of a controlled tie as possible. All right. My underhook controlled tie is going to allow me to be offensive while keeping my opponent defensive. Okay. So I'm going to put this all together and show you what about 15 to 20 seconds of wrestling in this style kind of looks like. All right, so ready to keep where you're going. Good. So we're moving, I'm faking. All right. Right here, I'm getting keep way to reach. All right, anytime I can get my opponent to reach, I've got three options. All right, I can post, I can snap, or I can pass. All right. So we're moving around. Boom, touching his knees. He puts his hands on me, I snap him off. Touch his knees, touch his toes. All right. Right here, hard fakes. Good, he reacts. Check his level, he didn't react. Right? If I check his level and he stays up, here's my penetration. All right. So one of the things that I like to do is I don't want my opponent to put their hands on me unless I want to put my hands on them. So one thing you saw me do was I go in and out, which means I step in, I feel touch, and I come back. All right, so step in, feel touch, come back. And remember, when hands are on me, okay, 3 options. Post it, snap it, pass it. All right? Now, the technique for our posts and our passes, our elbow passes. All right? When I elbow pass, thumb over the top. All right? My elbow's down, and I want to try and pull his elbow in as tight to my chest as possible. And when I turn to hit my elbow pass, my shoulders turn like I'm walking through a skinny door. All right, my head does not go down because that's going to allow him to keep it down and put pressure. So my head stays in good position, thumb on top, pulling this elbow in tight. And all I'm going to do is this goes across, I turn my body, and now my arm extends. All right, this extension here is what creates this whole angle. All right, this angle right there, that's going to be shoulder position double. It's going to be high crotches. I can cut the corner. All right, but so the things we got to remember that when I'm hitting this pass, I turn my shoulders. Okay, if I drop my head as I elbow pass, guys are going to be looking at my ankles. So if I do this, we get reattached there. All right, we get reattached back on the same side that we elbow passed on. Right here, he squares up with me because my head's down, and there's his reattack because he's got head position. All right, so we've got to make sure that as you're hitting this elbow pass, you're not taking yourself out of good position. All right, so we're not taking ourselves out of good position as we're hitting this elbow pass. And then another important thing, I'm going to put this on the board. So remember, we want to follow the rules as much as possible because you must know the rules to break the rules. All right, and so when we talk about setups, this is so very important. So when we talk about setups, shoot to the side that your head is on. All right? So you're going to shoot to the head side. Now, I know we all talk about basketball players, right? We don't like them. They take up our gyms. All right, we get to roll out our mats on their floors. But one of the things that's vitally important is understanding that just like a basketball player takes multiple shots in a game, wrestlers must take multiple shots in a match. If your conversion rate which is the amount of times you get to a leg and score, is high in the 75, 85, 95% range, then you want to increase your attack rate. All right? You want to be able to attack at least once every 7 to 8 seconds successfully, which sounds crazy. That's perfect wrestling almost, which doesn't happen. All right? So when I say shoot to the head side, as we're wrestling, we're in our ties. All right? My head is on Keyway's left side. My right leg leads forward side. Okay? When I have my head position here, it is going to be very, very hard for me to create motion, good motion, back to the other side through Keyway's head position. All right? So Keyway's a good wrestler. Okay? He's got head position. I've got head position. If I try to go under him to get to this leg, even though it's his lead leg, his head follows. Okay? So what that does is that opens us up to create a reaction that we can beat. This is a setup. All right? So my setup is hard step shot right here, and I'm going to penetrate to the side that I have my head on. There. My head stayed up into his chest. I didn't drop it as I shot. As I got forward, my shoulders came forward. This is going to be a very good shot attempt. Hopefully, I can convert it to a score. All right? Same thing. Right here. Got my head on the other side. I'm still right leg leaning forward. All right? Now I've got my head on the opposite shoulder. It's going to be very hard for me to try and get back to that other leg. Even if I lower my level quickly, it's hard. Okay? Good wrestler follows you with their head. So what we want to do is we want to create motion on the other side of our opponent's body, okay, so that we can shoot to our head side. All right, that's going to allow us to be very successful. Now, the inverse of this. Inverse just means opposite. All right, so the opposite of this also applies defensively. When we're wrestling, okay, I never want to give him my lead leg side. So Keyway got his head on my right shoulder, so my right foot is going to go back. What that does is that makes his most likely attack very hard to reach. Now all I've got to do is hold defensive position, and I'm looking for different shots on the side that I have head position. All right? So right here, defensively, I've cut off a lot of Keyway shots. So if he wants to attack my lead leg side, he's going to have to get through my head. All right? He's trying to attack this left leg. He's got to get through my head. Go. Right here. Because I understand the only way that he can attack successfully, this is going to allow me to react better. From this, standing front headlock. This is also, I'm going to call this a short snap front headlock. All right? Anything where we short snap here, just head down underneath of our chest. Remember, we've got our outside step. This is a great time for this setup. Once we get pressure here, Keyway wants to bring his head and his chest up like his coach is telling him. Get your head up, and we're going to go outside step and release this pressure. Got it? Right here. Outside step, release the pressure. Steer with our head. Easy takedown. So these setups, this footwork, all right, this all comes from understanding our head position, understanding our feet. He's got his head on my lead leg side. I've got to switch. Okay? He's got elbow control on the same side that he's got head position. All right? Which means that I've got to create space because we're in his strength zone right now. Okay? And I've got to get back to mine. Understand the position and what you need to do. Head. All right, he's got his hands on me. I can touch his knees, touch his toes. Right there, look. Good hard reactions, right? Same thing from down here. Touch his toes. Make him react. That's going to show you where the flaws are. And if they're not reacting, then you take the shot. simple. Either your opponent does what you want him to do, or you blow their doors off. Okay? I'm down here. We're wrestling. We're hand fighting. We're moving around. Okay? Good wrestler. I change my level and he doesn't match my level, then I blow his doors off. Okay? I get the head position. When his lead leg side, I can touch his knee or touch his toe. Right here. Pressure and finish. So as we start to put all of these things together, all right, some of the motions that we're going to have, some of the dance, right? This is your dancing class. You want to understand that you're going to build patterns into your wrestling. If you don't see patterns, you can't predict anything. All right, and you have to be able to predict the next action. All right, one of the things that I talked about in a previous lesson was you must make the next best decision. All right? It's hard to make the next best decision when I don't know what that is. So understanding that I've got to create motion, I've got to get this guy to move. All right, so moving my hands, his hands touch me, I want to keep them off. I normally go to a snap until guys give me another option, and then I move on to my post and pass. All right, so if Keyway gets his hands on me, all right, and I go snap and it stays on. All right, I go snap and it stays on. That means that I can now post because he's going to be holding on tight and keeping good pressure. So now my post, outside step, all right, shoulder in position, very, very good high percentage shot there. All right, remember our three options off of our face or our opponent's touch. My opponent touches me, post, snap, or pass. All right, and that's only if I don't feel like hand fighting. He touched me, I hand fight. All right, he hand fights, I hand fight. He hand fights, I hand fight. We're trying to get inside control. Okay, once he starts losing the hand fight, see how he goes to an elbow pass? All right, that's our options for clearing ties. You're getting beat in this hand fight. All right, you've got to come back to your post snap pass. That means your elbows come back to your hips. Your elbows come back to your hips. All right, he can hand fight to the inside, or he can post on that side. The side, yeah, he can post on that side. It's going to give him really good penetration. All right, so remember, put this on the board. Post, snap, pass. Our options. Post. Snap. Pass. All right. And the other thing we talked about was our underhook, so our control tie. We're going to get into this underhook a little bit more on Wednesday when we talk about chain wrestling and kind of putting this all together. All right, but our options are going to be post snap pass and our control tie. All right, and so remember our setup. Create a predictable reaction. That's a setup. Create a predictable reaction. And so I brought up the basketball analogy, the taking shots. All right? The more active you are, the more things you do to make your opponent have to move, the more likely you are to set up a good takedown, to take a good takedown, and to score. Okay? The more reactive you are to what your opponent is doing, the less likely you are to score. All right? Another predictable reaction that we can rely on comes off of a technique called a wrist roll. All right? So it's Keyway post, all right, whether it be shoulder or head, the same side that they post. I want to go thumb up like a Y with my palm facing my opponent. Okay, palm facing my opponent, my thumbs up. All right, because I like that he did this, and then I'm going to tell him, sorry, it's time for me to score. Roll that thumb down. All right, a lot of times this motion is going to create a reach on the other side or allow you to pull forward and create forward motion. So keep weight pose, I wrist roll. All right, what we get a lot of the time is this guy reaching up with his opposite hand, and we can get really good motion going around the other side. All right, so a little bit of speed on this technique. I wrist roll, he reaches, I go. So right here, he reaches, I wrist roll. Right here, I go. Grab leg, elevate, looking to score. All right. I can also wrist roll attack on the same side if my opponent reaches with his lead leg hand. All right, remember, good guys are going to reach with their back leg hand first. All right, so he's a left leg lead right now, reaching with his right hand. I wrist roll that right hand. He wants to put his hands on me. That's why he tried to reach the first time. All right, and so now we're going to be able to get to our shot here. All right.
1 second. Looks like we've got a comment coming in. Thomas, what was your question? When you wrist roll, does it matter which side you have your lead leg? It's a great question, my friend. So, no, not really.
So, right here, I've got my left leg lead. When I wrist roll, it's not going to matter. What's going to matter is, as I wrist roll, which side of his body does my head float to? All right? So if I wrist roll and Keithway's head comes and my head's on the opposite side of the wrist roll, this is the side that I want to attack. Now, if I wrist roll and he keeps his head away from me so that I wrist roll and end up on the same side as the wrist roll. So we're here, he reaches, I wrist roll and his head stays there, and I end up here. This is going to give me attacks to this side, but because he reached back leg, we're going to have to add other options. So one of the things we have is our short drag, or we can wrist roll snap. So imagine he's reaching back leg. I wrist roll, my head comes here, so I snap. I put him down in this position. I can go to my front headlock. I can cut the corner. But it's a very predictable reaction that you can rely on. All right. Whenever you get a guy who comes out and posts on your head once, right, you can almost bet that he's going to do it again. So as you let him do it again, right, as I wrist roll, my head comes here. One of the things that's important to realize is whenever, we're going to talk about this also next week, whenever we have a straight arm, all right, our opponent has a straight arm, whether we're grabbing the wrist or they're grabbing our wrist. Straight arms equal drag. All right, anytime I see a straight arm, I come right above the elbow and I pull it all the way across my body. I can create off-balance pressure with my drag. All right, so right here we've got a straight arm. We've got drags this way, chop drags. All right, he grabs my wrist down low, straight arm. We've got drags this way. All right, he reaches across. Okay, now we've got to release and drag, but we've still got the same motion. So straight arms are going to equal drags. All right, and what we're going to talk about later is bent arms equal throw. All right, so this guy's got a good collar tie. I need to put some more points on the board. You know, it is April. We should be talking freestyle and Greco. And so what a bent arm is going to equal is throws. All right, whether it's there, whether he's got an underhook. Okay, he's got an underhook. Bent arms are going to equal throws. Whether I'm giving up position here, right, and you still got to throw here. Got our head and arm throw. All right, I've got my overhook. He's got a bent arm with his underhook. Okay, we've got throws from here. Okay, our basic lap drop type stuff, and the same thing is going to happen from our underhooks. All right, we've got underhooks. This guy's got bent arms. He's trying to stay tight. He's trying to defend. All right, this is going to allow us our hip type throws. Imagine he comes and he's trying to collar tie and pull me down because I've got this underhook. All right, and then we've got throws coming back this way. All right, so bent arms equal throws, straight arms equals drags. Remember that as part of your dance for your setups. So I'm gonna go 1 minute. Me and Keithway are gonna wrestle live, just to get to a leg. All right, I want you guys to watch his motion, watch my motion, and see if you can tell who's actually setting something up before a shot. All right, so You're going to see multiple shots in this 1 minute. And I want you guys, if you're at home, doing this yourself. All right, so doing some shadow wrestling. All right, get your stance of motion down. All right, we're going to go for a minute and go. Good, great. All right, so lots of level change, lots of in and out motion, lots of push and pull. All very important things for this. So today, remember, we want to change what our opponent's looking at. This is our setup. Create a predictable reaction. Change what they're looking at. We're right here. Change what they're looking at. All right? If I want him to move his feet, touch his knees, touch his toes. All right? Touch his knees, touch his toes. Change what they're looking at. All right? So create a reaction. If you're not creating the reaction, then your opponent is, and you're the one getting set up. All right? Remember our push and stop pressure. Keyway's pushing into me. All right, I've got stop pressure. He's still trying to push. All right, gotta push. He's still trying to push nice and hard. All right, I've got this back foot creating stop pressure. So I can either create a reaction here, or because I'm giving him stop pressure, he can create his reaction here. Boom. All right, because I gave him stop pressure, he can create reaction. So remember your push and stop pressure, which is going to allow you to create an angle. All right. So let's see. Remember, we must know the rules to break the rules. Okay. So some of the rules, we want to be attacking the same side as our head. All right. So we want to be attacking the same side as our head. As part of our setup, we want to be touching his knees, touching his toes, using our outside step and our swisher steps. All right. Those are going to be some really good technique-driven positional skills that you must build up as a young wrestler. And so you must understand the need for these and the way to keep your shoulder position throughout hitting these techniques. All right, number 3, very, very important, is shoot to the head side. It's very important because if you're shooting to the opposite side of your head, you're putting his first line of defense already in your way. His first line of defense is going to be his head. Now, feel free to use that as a setup for your offensive shot reshot, but just remember you're following the rules by looking at, because it's an offensive shot reshot, you're looking to attack to that head side as your secondary attack. All right. Post snap pass. All right. If you guys remember anything from this lesson, remember post snap pass, because that's going to give you your options on your feet when guys are putting their hands on you. So if you're having a hard time with beating someone's hands, head defense, all right, you're having a hard time beating hands, head defense, then you should be thinking post snap pass, touch his knees, touch his toes, and fake, fake, fake. All right. So that's pretty much the lesson for today. All right. As we've reviewed, a little bit of what we talked about with our scrambling rules. You've got 7 of those, our 7 basic skills plus our hand fighting rules, our sprawl and shot defense. Then, you've got to understand some of these other important parts of being a good wrestler on your feet. So the setup and the fakes. All right. So a setup is creating that predictable reaction that you can then beat. All right. If I can predict the reaction, then I can get to a spot faster than my opponent can. All right. And so using my fake, which is everything but the shot. All right. One of the things that I think could really be useful is for you guys to tape yourselves as you shadow wrestle around your house. So tape yourself, and then as you watch the tape, try to find the openings that you would shoot on if you were wrestling yourself. All right. So when you feel yourself react, you're wrestling an opponent, they change their level, you have to change your level to match their head level. All right. When you feel yourself react, create the next action. So me and Keebway are wrestling. He gives me a really good hard fake. All right. I must respond with a reactionable action. All right. Just a really quick example as I'm wrapping up. Keebway gives me a really good hard fake. Right there. I must react with a good reaction. So I'm going to react with a good fake re-attack. All right. To get my opponent to react. All right. Our short snaps, remember, are us trying to pull our elbows to our ribs. Very, very important, whether it's on the hands. So I'm short snapping my elbows to my ribs, or whether it's me actually putting my hands on his head, I short snap to my ribs. All right. It's going to be a really good technique to help you beat guys who are trying to overpower you. All right. And so that's it. So thank you guys for checking in once again. All right. I appreciate you guys. I hope that you're learning, you're following along. Don't forget, we do have our shoe raffle. All right. Please donate. Any $5 donation counts as an entry into the raffle. This is my PayPal, my Venmo, Cash App, whatever works for you. Get yourself a free pair of shoes, customized. All right. So this raffle does come with the shoes. You will be able to pick your size shoe, and it will be customized. So you don't want to miss out on this. And so thank you once again. Please make sure to check back in at 12:30 for my good friend and coach Mario Mason. One of the best products New Jersey's put out over the last 10 years. So check him out. He's got amazing, good stuff. You saw him on Friday with Darian Cruz, NCAA champ. So check him out today, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Try and get better. Keep a positive mindset. Remember, make the next best decision. Control the controllables, and you can and you will. Have a great day.